Well, welcome back. It's another edition of Boomer Baseball. Back to baseball. Enough of that nerd stuff, huh? So I've been putting together my binder collection, recreating my childhood collection, getting stuff from the junk wax era, the mid and late 70s, and then now I'm starting to get into the earlier 70s, late 60s stuff. And the local LGS around my area, they don't really have too much more of a selection than I've already seen. I've kind of exhausted my local resources. I mean, there's other card shops, but they're quite a ways away, and I'm afraid to drive 20, 30 minutes, across town just to get there, and then they don't have anything I need, or they do, and the prices are terrible. So I've noticed on WhatNot. So WhatNot is that app where you can buy all sorts of stuff. I found some really decent sellers on there and got some pretty good deals. And then I've found sellers on there that sell junk. They don't disclose faults in the card. They'll show you the card and they'll tell you how nice it is. And these cards don't count. These are for later. Those are mine. Those are cards that are already in my PC. But there's a lot of sellers that they will show you the card, but they won't flash it in the light. They won't take it out of a top loader. They won't take it out of a one touch, and they'll just sell it to you as minty. They'll say, it's off center, but it's very clean. And then you get it and it's got scratches on the surface or dents in the surface, or it has some other condition issue that they didn't bother to disclose. Now, I understand people are busy. Not everybody has the best eyesight. I get all that. But that's not kind of the video I'm making today. This is, I believe, a seller who is willfully skirting the reality of what he's selling. So saying a lot of stuff like super clean card, like really nice card, super clean. And then while in the auction, I've learned from previous experiences, when you see something nice and it's, $20, $30, $40 card or more, and it's raw, ask the seller if it has creases, can I see the surface, ask them, And so this particular gentleman who I bought these cards from, I have the video receipts on WhatNot, and literally in some of these auctions, I asked him specifically, is there any creases, and he would say no, totally clean, just off center, right? Maybe a touch corner, but like off center, otherwise like really clean card. So when you hear that, you think, well, okay, I can bid freely now, and unfortunately that's not always the case when it comes to the condition. So for instance, we'll start with this Frank Robinson. So late 50s card, really nice color. It's off center. You can see it's off center, but that's not a big deal. It's Frank Robinson. It's gorgeous, right? But I paid pretty good money for this card. I didn't go like crazy, but it was, $50-ish, high 40s or like low 50s, somewhere around there. Can't recall offhand, but it's about $50, which I wouldn't have a problem with. There is a bumped corner here. You can see that. That's not totally a problem. But I was sold a bill of goods in the sense that this gentleman described it as flawless except for the centering and this soft touch corner. But in reality, all of the corners are touched to a degree. But the big problem is the crease in the card. So let's see if you can see it. See if I can flash it for the camera. So right under his hat at a 40-degree angle here, you see the crease? Now, above his baseball cap, coming out of the B, is more creasing, going right from the bottom of the B all the way down to the C in the Cincinnati. You see that? So that's what I'm talking about. Now, again, not everybody has perfect eyesight, but when you're selling a nice, raw, high-end card, and you're not disclosing that it has these bends in it, that's a problem, right? Creased cards, it's one thing to have like honest wear in the corners, on an old card. But when you start getting into like dents, scratches, surface issues, bends and creases, that's where people start to tap out. Like I don't mind old cards that have honest old school wear to them, but I try to avoid creased cards. I don't mind if the corners are touched a little bit, but I don't want to see like writing on most of my cards, and I don't want to see bending. So here's some more of that bending you can see. Right. That's right here. Let's see if we can get it in the light. Right there, right through the batting. Right through the hits and the B in batting. Right there. That's the same crease that is going on right there. So when you're buying it and the card is held at a nice light, it looks amazing. But then when you get it in hand and then you see that it's got a huge surface issue going on here, I mean, that's problematic. That's not cool. This is another card. I do not know how this is the card I bid on. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna have to check the receipt because I can't imagine I bid on this in this condition for what I paid for it. I can't imagine it. But again, was there creases? I asked the gentleman. Creases? Nope, no creases. Really clean. Well, here we go again. Right across his face. Can you see it? Right across the face of Yaz. Right there. There's a crease that goes almost across the card. Now, if that's not bad enough, there's another crease coming off the top of his hat. Right along the side of his face. See it? Right there. So not only is there creases there, but then there's this big edge dent here. The corners are worn right out. And I just have a hard time believing this is the same card I bid on, to tell you the truth. Because the card I bid on, from what I could see, was a clean card. And this card has nothing clean about it. I mean, this card is used up. This card is beat up. Again, look at that. See that vertical indentation? And then look at the horizontal line here. And then you can see some of that on the back here. Where's it at? Yeah, there's the creasing. So where does it go? Where'd it go? I just saw it. And oh, come on. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So this might be hard for the camera to pick up, but we'll see if we can do it. So right through Carl and ball player, a line going this way. Can you see it? Right there. Boop, just like that. Just right through there. Boop. Anyway, again, like, you try to think that, give people the benefit of the doubt. And not everybody, as you get older, your eyesight starts to go. And, some people are just busy. They're turning over product, and you understand that, But you can't tell me it's a clean card with no creases and then send me this mess. And again, I can't even believe this is the same card. Now, that might just be me remembering it wrong, but this card is tore up from the floor up, and I paid like $20-something, $28, something like that. And this card ain't worth. Now, this is like $12 card, $10 card, and I wouldn't want it, to tell you the truth. I would want a better example if I'm going to pay any kind of money. Let's get to some of this other crap. So Gil Hodges, I mean, he's fine. This Roberto Clemente batting leaders, again, sold as very crisp, and it's not bad. It's off center, but the corners have a little bit of wear to it. But again, another crease here, right underneath Wally Moon. There's a creasing going on. See it? So that's the problem. I mean, it's not as bad as the other ones, but it's still not a clean card in any sense. Now look at this horrible Fisk. Now this Fisk, I swear, somebody must have bent this thing into like a half pipe or like a U shape at some point. Because look at this. So you got surface wrinkles vertical there. You got surface wrinkles right off his arm. See it right there? All the way up the card. Like there's multiples up here. Now, the only reason why I bought this is because he had a bunch of these this year, and he was selling, I got all these clean 78s. So when you see a 78 Fisk, you go, okay, well, it's Fisk, like if it's only a $2 or $3 card, if it only wants $2 or $3 for it, if no one's bidding on it, then you get it, But this thing has all sorts of things going on. I mean, there's creases and folds, and I understand sometimes these older cards, they get wrinkles, but you can't sell a card that has this many surface flaws, and this is like pretty gnarly. I mean, this thing's got, see the one up there? I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, if you do have surface flaws like that, just say it. Say, hey, it's got wrinkles, but it, maybe they're not legitimate like creases, but they're wrinkles. And then you have this edge here that's bent. So, again, not bad for like, if that was like $3 or something, but I think I paid like $6 or $7. So I paid like full price practically for that. And it's just not worth it. Here's another one that was supposed to be really clean. And here's the problem. Look, can you see the crease right over the top of Yaz's name? See it? There's even ink loss. See it right there in the black? There you can see the missing ink for where it was creased. And then somebody chewed on it at some point. Then this corner is lifted, you see? So, not as clean as described. And then look at the back here. If you can see this, this whole edge right here is just folded up and bent. So, again, I mean, if you paid $5 for this, that'd be cool. But I think I'm into it. I was into it for like $15. It's like, for $15, And here's the thing, homie didn't say it was bent. Homie did not say that it was bent up here. He just said it's off center, but it's very clean. And then in the lighting, when he was selling it, it looked good, but you can see this edge looks like heck, and then you can see this corner up here is folded, and then there's a crease here. Again, I'm only telling you this because I've bought cards before and they were in poor condition, but I never asked the questions. I never asked the guy, are those creased? I just bought the cards the way they looked and then got them in the mail and thought, holy crap, they're all creased, they're all dented, they're all damaged, right? That's one thing, but it's another thing when the seller is telling you how clean the cards are, how sharp they are, and then you get these, that's the disappointment. That's the bummer. Again, another card sold as really clean. I mean, a really clean, messed up card. That is not acceptable. And then the whole bottom of the card is wrinkled. See the corner there? Corner's creased. There's little creases vertical all across the border there, and then you got that big gnarly whatever in the heck that is. Like, it looks like a box cutter went across it. It's actually just a crease. It's not even cut. It's just a big crease. So anyway, that's the very clean Joe Morgan. Now here's a really good one. Get ready. So when I'm at Burbank Sports Cards and I looked at some of the later 70s stuff, mid to late 70s stuff, or early to mid 70s, excuse me, and you get into some of the Hall of Famers, Brooks Robinson types, Harmon Killebrews, Bob Gibson's, all that, they get pretty pricey, even though it's like later in their career. So this card was also sold as sharp. Now, I went for this card. I think I paid $15 for this. And the reason why is because they can be very pricey. But usually what a pricey card doesn't have is creases all over it. Look at this crease. Look at that. It's bent. Completely bent. Look at this one. It looks like it was used as a coaster. You see these indentations? I mean, it's pretty bad, man. Again, these were not disclosed. They were not visible in the sale video. So, buyer beware is one thing, and, buy it how you see it. Again, I bought many cards on there and I've been disappointed. I bought cards on eBay and been very disappointed. But sometimes you buy it how you see it. Sometimes you're told that it's clean and you are seeing a card that looks good from afar. Turns out is far from good. So you got to be careful who you buy from. I'm just saying. Be very careful. And then again, another munched corner. So that corner is all goofed up. That wouldn't even have been a problem. The centering, you know, little discoloration on the white, whatever. I'm not grading it. But this is nuts. That bend right there, and then this indentation bend over here is just bananas. And then you can see creases on the top. I mean, this is not a sharp card in any sense. And then you can see the bend right there. It goes right across there. So definitely not a $15 card. And then Jim Palmer, another great 78, right? Beautiful card, right? Not bad. This one is actually really clean. The problem is there's a dent in it. And it's like, all right, I'm not trying to freak out about a dent. But again, I don't want to pay full freight and then get a dented card. See? Dent. But, you know, this one I actually didn't pay all that much for. I think I only paid like $4 or $5 for this card. So honestly, even with the dent, I'm okay with that. But again, when I bought it, I thought I got a steal, and I even told the guy, I think I owe you coffee or dinner or something. I think I stole that from you for that price. But it wasn't as clean as it turned out to be, so I don't feel like I owe him anything, frankly. And these are the ones that aren't bad. These ones are fine. Eddie Murray's good. I didn't find any creases on this one, which is great. It's got a bit of a bump corner, but that's not even a problem. That's exactly what the quality I'm going for. Mike Schmidt, these can get pricey. It's got bump corners. That's not bad. And it's got some vertical lines here on the surface, but that's what I'm going for. That's kind of the grades I don't mind. The Luis Aparicio is fine. It's off center. It looked a lot better in the pictures, I tell you what, but the surfaces are good. There's no creases, so that's all I really care about. I mean, it's discolored. It's got some bumps. It's miscut, but it's fine. The Griffey Star card. It's got a little bump on that corner. He said it was an 88 card, but it's an 89 card. You know, and that kind of made me go, wow, 88 card, like pre-rookie? Because that's what he was saying, basically. This is before 89. Well, that's what the date says. The front says 1988 season, right? But because this is Star, and they, you know, they do all sorts of shenanigans, that's what you got here, shenanigans card. Because it's actually printed in 89. It's got a little bump and discoloration, but I'm not tripping. That's fine. The Yaz is fine. It's off center. It's got touch corners, but it's exactly where I want to be. And this is probably the best one of the whole lot. And, you know, this is the quality I thought I was buying, to tell you the truth. So this is Stargell. Nice condition. Really nice. You can see the surface is fantastic. There's no creases on this one. Corners are beautiful. And then the same with the Lou Brock. You know, it's off center. It's got little touches in the corners. Something's going on here, you know, but it's not bad. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, not bad. And then Ty Cobb, Roger Hornsby, record card, not a big deal. Eddie Matthews. Looked cleaner in the pictures, and it's faded. You can see the ink is faded here somehow. I mean, it could be just the way they made the card. You know, quality control back then isn't anything they were concerned with. It's just interesting. I did not notice that the AV in the Braves was a different color of green. So this should match that, and that doesn't, the AV. So I don't know what's going on there. It's just a little unsightly, but otherwise that's a fine card. It is what I paid for it, and I think it's like $20, something like that, 20-something dollars. So anyway, you get some good ones and you don't on occasion, you know. The Frank Robinson and the Yastrzemski bum me out, but so I was on the market also for I need, you know, for my 75 collection. And again, what I've decided to do, because I'm a maniac, is Hall of Famers and borderline Hall of Famers. I put in these rookie one-touches because I think they look cool. And I hate money, and I like carting heavy boxes around because these things get really heavy. But I think they look nice. I think if you ever want to resell them, you just put them on a little stand, put a price on it. I think they're good to go. You can see with the Gary Carter here, he's right up against the edge in the one touch. See, right up against the edge. There's no margin around there. If you look at the Keith Hernandez, same thing. It's right up against the one touch. There's like hardly any space between. There's not a lot of, there's like no play in there, okay? So that's my observation, because when I got this one, the Jim Rice, which I was very happy to get, and it looked really clean. It wasn't described as a mini or anything, because it's not. It's too big to be the mini. But look at this thing. Can you see, like when I put this flush, so this edge is flush, the bottom is flush. Do you see what I'm seeing? You see all this negative space here around the one touch? Now look at that. Look at this left margin here. Look at the top margin. Can you see the reflectivity? That's a big gap. Look at that thing move. Up and sideways. You see the movement? So I believe this card is trimmed. I believe that's why it wasn't slabbed, why it's not graded. It's trimmed. Maybe it got sent or submitted, or maybe they just looked at it and thought, oh, that's a little bit small. This would not meet the minimum size requirement, I guarantee it. There's a little bit of a something or other here, and there's a bit of a something or other here. See it in the yellow? Just like a little weird thing going on in the corner. But other than that, I mean, I don't like to have trimmed cards. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind a card that's not perfect, but altered cards is kind of where I just don't get into it, you know? I don't really want altered stuff in my collection. Now, if it was like a, you know, a significant card, like a 52 Mantle or a 52 Mays or some old Gaudy, you know, Gehrig or Gaudy Babe Ruth or something, I would take it if it had like a little sticky on it, or, you know, somebody had trimmed it or something, you know, just to be able to have one, right? But Jim Rice ain't that big a deal. I mean, it's a cool card, and I'm having trouble finding it in a decent condition for the price, but getting one that's been trimmed wasn't my idea of a solution, you know? So, and again, just look at the movement. And there's also, if you look at the cut here, the margin is different from here to here. So it's not even cut straight. This side is fine. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. My opinion is it's been altered, but oh well. For the price, it'll stay in my PC. And I'll just have to put on I'll make sure I put something on the post. I'll put like a post-it or something on the back that says trimmed, or possibly trimmed. I'm pretty sure it's trimmed. But it looks good in my Dopey basic collection. That's basically what it is. So then we have, this is the Reggie Jackson second year card. Second year card? Yeah, second year, right? 69, 70. Oh, this is 71, my bad. So this is his third year card. Am I right? I don't know. Don't quote me. What do I know? I open Harry Potter crap. All right, look. So the same thing here. See that top margin? Look at the gap. It's just a big gap on the left and a big gap on the top. So, and these cards are notoriously hard to get with these borders, right? This black border, it's just real rough. And the idea that maybe somebody trimmed it wouldn't shock me at all. It wouldn't surprise me. I bet you if you took it under magnification, you'll be able to see the difference in the color. Because, you know, when you trim this, you're opening up the cardstock that's been sealed away, in the sense that the natural edge is going to oxidize and turn a darker color. And then when you cut it, you're going to expose a brighter cardstock versus the natural surface, you know. But I really don't care to, you know, I'll look at it later with my loop, but I don't need to like show that on camera or anything. But I'm not sure why it's so bent, but it is. It's got like some real bevel to it. Look at that. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but no idea. Look at that thing. Pretty waffly. Pretty awful. But cool card. Just wish it wasn't trimmed. And again, I'm not saying the guy trimmed it. It's possible he just got it from somebody who trimmed it, or got it from somebody who got it from somebody else. You never know. You know, I'm not saying he did it, but again, sometimes there's a reason why certain things aren't graded and others are. So the whole point is to watch what you buy on WhatNot, you know? Watch where you buy anywhere. You know, it doesn't matter where it's from, whether it's a card show or whether it's on eBay or whether it's on, you know, Craigslist or wherever you're buying stuff, you know. Sometimes things aren't, you know, as good as they look. And this is same seller, and I bought this Gibson, and yeah, the slab is not really beat up or scratched or anything, so I already looked at that, so that's good. So this was the best deal of the whole thing. I got this card, I think, for like $30. I don't know why I wanted it, but it seemed like a good deal at the time. You know, Bob Gibson, 7.5, kind of middle of the road, but kind of a middle of the road issue as well this year. You know, it's not as bright as it could be. The registration on the photograph is a little bit off. It's a little bit fuzzy. It's not as crisp as you would want it to be. But, you know, near mint 7.5 ain't bad for $30 if you're into Bob Gibson. So anyway, that's the moral of the story. Watch who you buy from and watch what you buy, because sometimes you're going to get a bent up Yaz, or you're going to get a Frank Robinson that is a clean card that is not so clean, that has creases. So it is what it is, but just take care of yourself and watch where you spend your money. And you know, when you find a seller who is a seller who wants to sell you a quality card, you know what I'll tell you? It's exciting to buy from WhatsApp or whatever, WhatNot. It's WhatNot? Yeah, WhatNot. It's fun to buy from there because you get these like real fast-paced auctions. It's like instant gratification. Like, ooh, I got to get it, right? Got to catch them all. Got to catch all them Pokemons, right? So you get like into this kind of like fervor. You get into this like feeding frenzy, you know? And you're seeing like iconic, beautiful cards come across, and they're going for much less than, you know, they should be worth. But there's a reason sometimes people, when you find certain sellers, they will take the time to show you the card. They will present the card. They will scrutinize the surface. They'll scrutinize the corners, the centering, the color, the registration, and they will point out every single flaw because they want you to buy the card that you want to buy and not get tricked into a card or feel like you've been tricked into a card. So watch for that. There's some really good sellers on WhatNot that they'll sit there, and I mean, it's not the funnest sometimes because sometimes you don't want to buy that card, and it's sitting there for 3 or 4 minutes while he talks about it, you know. And he's hyping the card. He's making sure you get a good look at it, you know. And then he puts it up, you know, starts the bids a little higher maybe sometimes. But that's because you're getting a good card. And the seller wants you to be happy with what you're buying. So watch out for that, you know. And watch out for sellers who don't take stuff out of cases, you know. When the dude's got this in a top loader, he's got it in a one touch, and he's just, hey, here it is, Frank Robinson, look at that. Wow, it's crazy. Look at it, it's like brand new. And then everyone's popping on it, you know, everyone's popping. Who knows if people are shilling? You just never know on there. You never know. If people are shilling, you know, his friends or his family, you know, he could be over there with his phone shilling himself. Who knows how these things work? Again, I'm not accusing this guy of anything. I'm just saying you got to be careful in this world. You know, people want to make money, and, you know, they're trying to optimize their bottom line as much as anybody else. So, you know, sometimes when you see those sellers who are really slow, who take their time, it's almost like they don't want to give you the card because it's so nice. You know, they want to show you everything with the card. They want to talk about the card, and then reluctantly they put it up for sale, you know. But you know what you're getting into, you know. So anyway, again, I'm not accusing the seller of anything. I'm not looking to give anybody a hard time. It is what it is, you know. You just got to be kind of careful how you buy cards. And, you know, when you find the sellers who do you proper, you know, take care of them. Come back and buy from them again. You know, incentivize their good behavior instead of rewarding people who do the wrong thing, you know. So that's the moral of the story. But that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.